On the 25th of June, a video game that nobody had played, that no critic had reviewed, that not one person outside of Rockstar had even touched, took $1 billion off the public in about an hour. Not a day, an hour, and everyone involved is calling it a triumph. To get how strange that is, look at what it took the biggest film ever made to pull off the same trick. When Avatar became the highest-grossing movie of all time, it needed 17 days, in every cinema on the planet, to cross $1 billion. Grand Theft Auto 6 did it in about 60 minutes. And it did it selling something that doesn't even come out until November. This is a game that's going to out-earn the opening of Barbie, Oppenheimer, and every Marvel film that year put together, before a single person has finished the tutorial. So it kind of begs the question, how does a piece of software beat every movie ever made, when literally nobody has seen the thing? And the answer, I'm sorry to say, is you. You pre-ordered it, or someone exactly like you did. But here's the thing, to actually see the setup, you have to stop looking at the game. Because there's a phrase stamped all over this launch, the biggest launch in entertainment history. Because the biggest launch in entertainment history sounds like it's about quality. Best, most loved, most important. It isn't. It's about something economists call friction. The gap between the moment you want a thing and the moment you actually pay for it. And it breaks down into 3 reasons, none of them about whether the game's any good. Let's start with distribution. A movie has a ceiling, a hard physical one. On opening weekend, there's only so many cinemas, so many screens, so many seats, so many showings you can cram into a day. You can't sell a ticket to someone who can't physically get in the door. A game has no door. Rockstar can sell 40 million copies on a single Tuesday because a download doesn't have seats and it doesn't have showtimes. The store never sells out. And the second you take away that physical bottleneck, the size of a launch stops being about how badly people wanted it and starts being about how many cards you can charge in a window. GTA 5 already showed us this. Biggest digital launch there'd ever been, and that was back when half the planet didn't even have a console under the TV yet. The second reason is price. A cinema ticket's about $15, and the studio doesn't even keep that. Roughly half of it goes straight to the cinema chain. So when a film makes $1 billion at the box office, the studio is actually walking away with something near $500 million. GTA 6 is $80, and Rockstar keeps nearly all of it. No cinema to split with, no middleman shaving a cut off the top. Just you, your $80, and Rockstar in a straight line. Which means every single copy is worth 5 or 6 cinema tickets to their actual bottom line. So when people stick a game launch next to a film opening, they're not even comparing the same dollar. The game dollar is bigger, it's cleaner, and nobody else gets a slice of it. Which brings us to the third reason, the pre-order. A game takes your money months ahead of time for something that doesn't exist yet, that you can't test, that could turn out broken or delayed. Rockstar opened pre-orders on the 25th of June and reportedly pulled in $1 billion and 30 million copies almost straight away for a game that ships on the 19th of November. Strip out the corporate language and here's what actually happened. 30 million people handed Rockstar $80 each and went, "Here, hold on to that for 5 months, I trust you." That is an interest-free loan of over $2 billion from the public to one of the richest entertainment companies on Earth, backed by nothing but a trailer and a good feeling. And the maddest part is that all of this is completely normal, because this is where the real story actually is. Think about everything a film has to do to make $1 billion. It has to be finished. It has to get reviewed. It has to survive word of mouth. It has to drag you off the sofa, into a car, into one specific building, at one specific time, over and over for weeks, until the number finally stacks up. And every single one of those steps is a moment where you're allowed to change your mind. The game just deletes all of them. No building to drive to, no review to wait around for because you paid before any reviews existed, no word of mouth because you bought it before anyone even had a mouth to speak with. So that record everyone's about to quote at you, it isn't measuring how good GTA 6 is. It's measuring how completely they've engineered the gap between your impulse and your wallet down to zero. They took away the cinema, they took away the review, and they took away the bit where you get to find out if the thing's any good before you pay for it. That's the friction gone. And you're the one who handed it over. Because the second you pre-order something sight unseen, you're giving up the only bit of leverage a customer has ever actually had. The right to say, "Show me first." Some guy on Reddit put it more bluntly than any analyst ever would. On a thread that got downvoted into oblivion for it, he said it'd sell $1 billion before anyone had even played it. Everyone hated hearing it. But he wasn't taking a shot at the game, he was just describing what was about to happen to it. And it happened exactly like he said, which means everyone who piled on to tell him he was wrong is the reason he was right. And here's the bit that should sit with you a little. You are not the audience for this launch. You're the fuel. The record needs 30 million people to pay up before the product is even real, and you were more than happy to be one of them, because the trailer was that good, and 13 years is a genuinely long time to wait. None of that makes you wrong, it just makes you the mechanism. And this was never really about one game, or even about Rockstar. It's about what winning looks like now. A film still has to earn you, step by step, and it hands you a dozen chances to walk away along the way. The most profitable product in entertainment history earns none of that. It just closes the gap between wanting and paying until there's nothing left in the middle, and then it calls the size of that gap a record. And a culture that claps for that treats biggest launch ever as a compliment instead of a confession, is quietly teaching every company out there that the goal isn't to make something worth waiting for anymore. It's to make sure you never have to wait or think at all. And the shape of this is older than video games. Give people a convincing enough promise, something polished enough to trust, and they'll pay for that promise and completely forget they never actually saw the thing behind it. Look, Grand Theft Auto 6 will probably be a phenomenal game. That was never really in doubt. The thing worth hanging on to, when November rolls around and you're drowning in headlines about records and history and biggest ever, is that the record it broke was never a measure of the game at all. It was a measure of how many of us would pay full price for a promise, and 30 million of us already did.